Hello, everyone. Julie Salant from Motivation Addict. Today, my guest is Rachel Augusta. Rachel is a holistic animal practitioner, and she was featured by the New York Times, CNN, BBC, and she was also on the cover of People. She's been everywhere. She's amazing. She works with animals all over the world who are sick, injured, and have terminal illnesses or suffer from age-related issues or trauma due to previous abuse. So again, she is an animal practitioner. You will love this conversation if you have fur babies. And again, it's Julie from Motivation Addict. I hope you love the episode, and don't forget to subscribe, comment, and rate it, and enjoy. Welcome to Motivation Addict on Society Bites Radio. Today, our guest is Rachel Augusta. I am psyched she is here, you guys, because I met Rachel earlier in the year, and she's just an amazing human. We love talking to each other. Rachel is a holistic animal practitioner. She's been featured in the New York Times, CNN, BBC, many, many more places that I can't even mention because there's so many. And she works with animals all over the world who are sick, injured, and have terminal illnesses or suffer from age-related issues or trauma. And our topic for today is Take a Chill Pill. Your emotions are making your fur baby sick. Hi, Rachel. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Julie. It's so awesome to talk to you again.
So glad you're here. So glad you're here. Something that we kind of bonded because only people that really work with animals kind of understand how it all works. And it's just cool to have someone to high five and be like, yes, you're helping animals.
Totally. Yeah. We don't have to go into deep explanations. We just hug and we're like, thank God you're here.
Yeah.
I need your help. Yeah.
You talk to animals. Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly.
So would you give the listeners maybe just a very short intro on kind of how you even came to be a holistic animal practitioner?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It started out of desperation with my own soul companion cat, Holly, when she got really sick. I realized very quickly that while Western medicine is great and we all know somebody who's benefited from it, and, if you're having a heart attack or you've been in a bad car accident, by all means, get yourself to the emergency room. But I realized very quickly that it doesn't support all issues. In fact, many issues. And there's very little we know about the human body. There's even less we know about dogs, and even less about cats. Cats haven't been living in our homes as long as dogs have. So there's just a lot of unanswered questions. And when she got really sick, I very quickly realized I had to be the one to help her if she was going to get any help at all.
Wow.
Yeah. So I
can relate to that.
For her. Yeah. This all started for her. And what happened was, because I'm so connected with so many animal lovers, everybody could see Holly was given essentially a couple of weeks to live. She lived an additional 3 years because of the work I was doing with her. So
wow.
Yeah. All of my friends are like, here's my cat, here's my dog, here's my bunny, here's my horse, here's my sugar glider, here's my hedgehog, And all of a sudden I was like, I think this is my job. And if it's not, it needs to be. Otherwise, I'm going to be homeless because now I'm spending all of my time working with animals and not actually working. So, yeah.
So now in terms of animals, and we've had a lot of discussions, but just so that the listeners know, can you explain, I'm going to ask you the question first, and I know the answer, but they won't. Do you think animals take on the emotions of the humans they're living with?
Definitely. And recently, in the last couple of years, it's actually been scientifically proven. And what's really great is that even bigger news channels like CBS and CNN are starting to cover articles that talk about this. But the Department of Biology in Naples, Italy, was able to prove that not only do animals smell our emotions, we've known that animals smell our emotions for a long time. If you're afraid, a dog's going to smell that on you. We know that. We know that animals can smell. I mean, if animals can smell diabetes and cancer, they're going to be able to smell if you're anxious, right?
Yes.
So we've known that for a long time. But what we didn't know until a few years ago was that not only do animals smell our emotions, but they feel them with us. So if I'm living in a state of anxiety, My cat is living in a state of anxiety just because they love me and they're with me. In the same way that, if a human was living with somebody who was always depressed, it would impact your state of mind as well, and probably your health and well-being too. And so
Hmm.
the same is true with animals. And, people who work with animals like you and myself and, you know, a handful of other people and, other people who are just in tuned and empathic. I think they've known, just you're like, yeah, I have suspicions. My guess is that the animals feel our feelings with us, or they mirror us, they take them on, but it has been scientifically proven. So it's no longer a hunch. It's reality.
So when I have a migraine, for instance, and my cat will come and either lay on me or right next to me, I feel like she's trying to take away some of that pain. Is that really what's happening?
Yeah, I think she wants to comfort you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of layers to this. So animals smell our emotions, which I talked about, and I won't go deep down that hole, but if you are in pain, she's gonna be able to smell that on you.
Hmm.
And energetically, she's going to be able to feel that on you. And cats are not just cats, all animals are very in tune with energy, much more than humans are, because, humans are the only animal on the planet. People forget that humans are actually part of the animal kingdom, but we're the only animal on this planet that will knowingly walk into danger.
Right.
And the reason why we do that is because we use our logic to talk ourselves in and out of things. So, we'll say, oh, this forest seems scary, but, I just watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So that's why I'm thinking that. Whereas an animal doesn't. They're like, this seems scary. I'm not going.
Right.
And, you work with horses. So, you can't get a horse to do something they don't want to do.
No, you cannot.
And, and that's why they're so energetically in tune, because they're using their feelers, they're using their energy feelers to pick up on stuff. And I always think of my sister's dog, who has since passed. We had her on a big walk. She was a Great Dane, and we needed her to cross this bridge, and she just absolutely refused. She wasn't going to do it. And because of her size, she wasn't a Chihuahua we could just pick up and move.
Hmm.
We were trying to force her, and we could not get her to cross the bridge. So we had to take the long route back instead of, just crossing the bridge and being at the car. Well, the next day the bridge had collapsed and fallen down. Yeah,
What?
she knew. She was picking up on that. And that's energy, and animals feel that, they sense that, they know, it's that sixth sense that humans can tap into if they allow themselves to, which is
Right.
what, you do with your communication with horses. And, what a lot of other people do is like that hunch, that sense, I shouldn't go this way, I shouldn't do that. Animals are always working on that. So if you're having a headache, they can energetically feel that on you as
Hmm.
well. And they want to be there and help comfort you through it because they love you.
So that makes me feel great, but it also makes me feel bad because I don't want the little one who weighs 4 pounds to take on my massive pain. So is
Yeah.
there something that we can do so that they don't take on either our emotions or our fears or our anxiety that we might have had during the day?
Yeah, definitely. I like to tell people to, imagine you're having a conversation. Let's imagine you're a healthy minded person having a conversation with a child. And, and if you were going through something really difficult emotionally, let's say, you're going through a divorce and you have children involved, you would have, if you're a healthy minded person, you would have a conversation with that child and say, I'm sorry, I know this is really hard and I'm crying, and it's probably really hard to watch me cry, but this is mine. This is
Yeah.
me. I have to experience these emotions to move through them. But you don't
Hmm.
have to worry. We love you. We both love you. And the best way you can support me is by staying healthy and happy and playing, and know that I will be okay. This is part of my evolution.
Mm. Wow.
And animals feel that, they pick up on it, and people who are like, oh, I don't know that I believe in animal communication, for anybody out there listening, but why would they be listening to your show if they don't believe in that? so
Right, right.
so animals, we speak and we talk. When we speak and we talk, we create images in our head,
Hmm. Yeah.
and the animals see all of those images. So, whether or not, even if somebody's like, but I'm not an animal communicator, you already are. Like, you have no secrets. You might not be able to hear what they're saying, but they know what you're thinking, and they
Right.
know what you're saying. And so if you can stay really positive and talk them through situations, it's very good for them in the same way that it would be for children, for human children. I'm sorry, I have a really bad headache. I'm going to be really quiet. I'm just going
Yeah.
to go lay down. If you want to lay with me, you can.
Yep.
But, I'm okay. I'm going to work through this.
Yep. Yep.
Uh,
And it's so interesting to me because so all my life I always spoke to animals like I'm talking to you right now, and I still do it to this day. And my
but I
dad
love
used
you.
to my dad used to joke around and say, every time I go to the barn, there you are talking to the horses. I'm like, yeah, I still do it. But they might not understand your words, but they understand your energy and your vibe. And I think it's about what you just said, which is keeping them in the loop. In other words, it's your house. Your house is your sanctuary, no matter where you live. And that's a place where you might have a brave face, at the office, but then you might get home and cry, right? So whatever's going on in your
Exactly.
life. So, and we all have good days and bad days. So all of that
Totally.
does affect the animals and how they try to help us because they love
Totally.
us.
Totally. They love us. And where I see this actually being a really big issue, and I end up having to really coach my clients through, is when they have an animal that's diagnosed with, let's say, cancer. They, I mean, obviously, our first response is to grieve.
Yes.
We start grieving them before they're gone. It's scary. We go into fight or flight. We're very scared, and we start grieving and we're crying. And going back to the study that came out of Italy, they were able to prove that animals feel our feelings with us. So why does that matter? If you're anxious, you're in a state of fight or flight. If you're depressed, your body goes into fight or flight, which releases cortisol. And a
Hmm.
lot of cortisol leads to tumors, and tumors lead to cancer. And while this is happening in our bodies, it's happening in our animals' bodies. But let's say you have an animal that already has cancer and you immediately go into freak out. Oh my God, what do I do? Are they going to die? You start grieving, you start crying. They were able to prove that it makes the animal's tumors worse. So it's really difficult because, we can't say don't feel your feelings, you
Right.
know, feel your
Right.
feelings, be worried, but it is the best thing. People ask me all the time, okay, my animal has this. I know you're doing private sessions. What can I do? Relax and be happy. That's a really hard thing to say to somebody who's afraid they're losing someone, but it is actually the best thing they can do for them. And this is a really great scenario is where you'd want to talk to your animals and say, you got a diagnosis of this. It's really scaring me. You might pick up on that. I'm scared because I love you and I don't want to lose you, but I'm in this to look for help and we're in it to win it. I'm here. I'm going to be working with you to help you. I
Mm-hmm.
want you to heal if you want to stay here.
Hmm.
And that's keeping them in the loop. Otherwise, if you're like, oh, you think I caught myself doing this actually with Holly before I was really in tune. What sucks is that Holly was my teacher.
Mm.
I would rather
Yeah.
have not been learning everything from her. But when she was really sick, I caught myself thinking, she's going to die. She's going to die. She's going to die. She's going to die. And I couldn't. And I was on a cycle loop thinking that. And then I caught myself and I was like, wow, this would be horrible if you were sick and somebody was standing over you saying that over and over and over and over.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, but it's what we do. And so I stopped myself and I just started crying. I said, I am so sorry that I've been saying that. I'm so afraid because I love you so much. And I'm going to do my best not to do that. And so instead I started making myself think of really wonderful memories with her. If my brain wanted to go into that place of fear, I tried to switch it around to all of these happy memories that I could cycle in my brain that she could see instead.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it is hard because that's what you do, especially as your pets get older or if they've been injured or if they have something like cancer. But if your thoughts are going to make it worse for them, that's the opposite of what you want to happen. So I guess the trick is to treasure every moment, right?
Right. Yeah.
And
Treasure every moment.
yeah,
Totally. And
yeah,
try and stay in a place of hope, especially if your animal hasn't gone into hospice yet.
yes.
Especially if you are still seeking out medical help, if you're, whether